Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Chris and I are back as we conclude our look at the Ash vs. Evil Dead series with Judgment Day and the Mettle of Man. Ash has spent the last 30 years avoiding responsibility, maturity, and the terrors of the Evil Dead until a dead-eye plague threatens to destroy all of mankind, and Ash becomes mankind's only hope. Greetings.
Greetings, bud. Yeah, this is kind of a sad one for me because I was really enjoying the series, and I feel like we just started watching it,
It's
and that
always like we've done a couple of series, and like we'll get the last one. It's like, oh, right, over there.
yeah, the Tremors, the TV show was like that too. You're just enjoying it, not just the show, but I'm enjoying reviewing it with you, and it feels like we were just got it started, and especially in this case, it absolutely could have gone on for another couple of seasons. I know the third season was a little bit of a drop off in some areas, but not a big one, and you absolutely could see this going on for a few more seasons.
Oh
So
yeah, and these two episodes, you know what I mean, the ramping it up and that, you could see things coming together
hmm,
and carrying on. You could just see it happening, and yes, it is what it is, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, but I enjoyed it. I think it finished strong, and I'm excited to get you know deep in the woods, deep in the
Hmm.
weeds with this. That's the expression.
Yeah.
That's how people talk.
No, and I think even as we talk about these episodes, maybe people understand my issues with the latest movies that have come out because you could see how much of a departure it is, and it's not just Ash Williams fanboy and stuff. We've got a whole cast of characters here who have stood in their own ground and been incorporated into the lore,
Mhm.
and yeah, that it's just been all thrown away for some reason.
Yeah, and now that we finished watching the series, I was able to look up a little bit more stuff. Yeah, I was always afraid to get the ending spoiled.
Hmm.
And Bruce Campbell said the exact same thing. He said that, and this could have been a couple of years ago, but it's just as relevant for this latest Evil Dead movie as it was for the previous ones. He said he wasn't rude about it. He just said like he's surprised in the direction that the movies have gone because he always thought that Evil Dead's strongest attribute was the mix of horror comedy,
Hmm.
and it's one thing we've been saying it throughout, but it's another thing to hear the biggest star of your franchise basically echoing it, and it's like okay, so it's not we're not off base. Like he
No,
sees.
no, and actions speak louder than words. So yeah, words are being said. It's the whole the phrase "watch what the hands are doing, not what the mouth is saying."
Mm,
So the fact that he stepped back completely, even from producer credits and actually any involvement, you
yeah,
don't do that. You know what I mean? You're invested and you love a franchise and that, and you understand that's what put you on the map. You don't step away completely unless something underline's going on. You'd find a way. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
and
Even limited.
yeah, and he's such a straight shooter too.
Mhm.
Like he tells you just as it is, So I was enjoying some of his interviews and stuff like that. He said something to the effect that he would rather be in a shitty Sam Raimi movie than be in the best movie ever with any other director because that's how awesome Sam Raimi is. And
Oh, they're friends. It's without a
yeah,
doubt. You know what I mean? They're
yeah,
like
but
the
he's
ribbon and stuff they give each other. You don't do that unless you're friends.
yeah, but he's very honest. So yeah, for him to back away and just say that he's not really agreeing with the direction that the franchise is going is telling.
Right.
And we've said it like there's just so many slasher movies and movies that are similar to the Evil Dead movies that have come out recently. Like what made this show special and Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness special was the blend, the
Mhm.
comedy aspect. It set it apart because other horror comedies just didn't quite get the mix right. Either it was too campy like a Leprechaun or something like that, or
Mhm.
Critters or Sharknado, or it wasn't funny enough. Like this had the perfect blend of comedy and horror. It hasn't been duplicated to my knowledge. I'm a novice. You might be able to name 10 movies where it got the mix right, but
Hard one. It's a really hard one to get. You know what I mean? It is a hard mix. So when it
yeah.
does get off, it's great.
I feel
It's
like
too
a
early in the
good
morning for me to remember anything, so bear with me.
yeah. I feel like making a good horror comedy movie is almost like making two great independent movies and then blending it. Like that's how difficult it is. It's just, you know, it's almost like finding an actor to play Batman. You can find someone who's good at Bruce Wayne, you know, like I think oh my gosh, the original the
Michael
Bruce
Keaton.
Wayne, Michael Keaton, great at Bruce Wayne, not great at Batman. And then Christian Bale, great at Batman, not great at Bruce Wayne. It's tough to find the blend. I think a horror comedy is kind of like that. It's tough to find one element, but it's tough to get them both hitting on all cylinders at the same time.
I was wondering if that was a suit, because that suit was ridiculous in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, that was pure rubber. Like, that was a rubber cape.
But I think also Michael Keaton was in decent shape, but it was hard to picture him doing some of the things that Batman was doing. Whereas the Christian Bale one, they did such a good job focusing on his training and stuff that like you totally bought into the Batman part, but then he really wasn't a billionaire playboy. Yeah. So
you
I think a horror comedy. Yeah. Yes,
you need two personalities, you know that.
Yeah, exactly.
You've also got Christopher Nolan's pretentiousness, which never helped. The key as a twat.
I love that trilogy, so I don't know.
That third one, I think there's a couple of scenes in those. Tangent, folks, we haven't even started yet. I think we're trying to delay this because it's the last one. Because one says it's done, Evil Dead for the moment is over till the next movie. It's like,
I know.
Nah, there's a couple of bits, and the more we think about it, there is a bit of steering at the audience, and it's like, a lot of contrivances in the plot. Like, it just takes one thing to fall apart, even for the villains, you know, and it's like, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's true.
But say the V. Anyway, go to Judgment Day, and these are given longer recaps for these episodes. I noticed that.
They definitely, but it's I feel like they've done a good job at focusing on elements that might come into play. You know what I mean? Like they definitely have gotten longer, but it's not like they gave like a recap of characters that aren't relevant, like the police officer in the first season. Like I thought they picked things that were relevant to this.
It just felt more detailed because you can tell it's ramping up, and they want you to have certain things in mind.
Yeah,
like I just noticed that shift in tone in these last two episodes. The recaps are definitely longer and more detailed because they're like, "This is it. This is pay attention, folks," sort of thing.
Right. No, it's a fair point, and like I think
not a criticism. I'm just saying I noticed a change.
Yeah,
you know, it's
and this was 2018. This last season.
Yep.
So you could see that trend of directors where they're almost don't give the audience enough credit, so they have to really make sure. Hey, remember this? You know.
And that's the Netflix model as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's the Netflix model for anything that they produce. Is right exposition, shiny lights exposition, because their philosophy is that people are watching, but they're playing on their phones and stuff and not paying attention, and they don't respect their audience, you know, or that's the audience that they've cultivated,
right?
And that people are just, you know, the whole Netflix chill thing and stuff. People just have it on in the background like TV because they brought TV people in. That's the problem. They're thinking like TV, where Netflix, first of all, it was a video library. If you remember rightly, it was a physical video library. When it first came out, that you actually rented the DVDs, and then it became a digital video library. But the people that initially watched Netflix were binge watchers. You know, it was like you're really into a show, you wanted it in one place. That was it. You know, you just got you set aside a weekend and you just went for it.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know how they think that changed, or did it change? Did they bring a new audience in, or what? Because I don't know. I haven't watched Netflix in years. This is on Tubi at the moment, so it's great. You know, I don't have to bother with Netflix. It's a rare thing if I have to take out Netflix for like a month to watch something. But I would
Yeah.
cancel it like after I finish watching what I'm watching. That's getting cancelled because I don't like the platform anymore.
Yeah. Once they went to ads, they were like one of the last holdover streaming shows that we didn't have ads. And now,
Mm.
at least in America, we have a lot of
No,
Netflix
the
ads.
option here as well. You can
Well,
pay
you can pay extra, but
less, pay extra to get no ads, but you still get some.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
Your country's horrible, dude.
I didn't make it.
Look at the look at the dead during the World Cup. Like I never watched the match, but I heard enough. They put extra breaks in for shitty ads in a football match,
Yeah,
and you're like,
that's how
what the?
that sounds like us. Yeah.
It was just disgusting. Hydration breaks. You're like, oh fuck! Please, somebody bomb your country, bastards.
Well, not my area. I hope.
Sorry,
West
just
Coast,
you know, what I mean,
West Coast at least.
make the noble sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Understand?
Well, since you
Yeah.
asked nicely, how can I say no?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just sorry, buddy. You know what I mean?
I'm a people pleaser. All right, I'll take one for the team.
Right. So we have the plans all starting to come into fruition. Poor Zoe. I think we knew she was not in for a good time. So
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, even for Evil Dead, right? And I feel like oftentimes it's someone who's made a mistake that gets really brutal treatment. And by mistake, it could be like the girl in the episode last season that went with Professor Nobi and was
oh
dumb enough.
yes. Yep.
If you're dumb enough to go to a cabin with your professor into the basement, not
Yeah.
that you
Don't
could,
think
not that,
anything bad's gonna happen to you.
yeah, not that you could excuse what happened, but it just that seems to be the trope. Like, I don't think
But
Zoe did anything that
no, but
wrong.
that has been the whole point of horror
Mhm.
is don't put yourself in the situation. Horror has always been a warning.
Right,
Don't do silly things.
right,
Bad things can happen. Don't put yourself in the situation. It's been
right.
forgotten because nobody takes responsibility anymore for their own actions.
No,
Like
it's a good point.
some weird bloke invites me to isolate a cabin in the woods who I don't know. Yeah, sorry, mate, I've got to pass. Am I going to walk down the dark alley at midnight when there's a bunch of gangbangers on the other end?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a bit of a silly thing to do.
right. No, but that's
So,
my point. Like, I didn't think
yep.
Zoe did anything that egregious like that, right? Like, she was just in the basement, with her other, Knights of Samaria, and that's when they took her, and then they really they ripped her
Thank
back
you,
out.
because I keep trying to not say that because I have Knights of Sidonia in my head, which is an anime.
Uh,
Because every time I see KOS, I keep thinking Knights of Sidonia, and I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And it keeps overwriting my brain. No, but they're all trained. It was their first battle, like literally their first actual battle against evil.
yeah,
And in fairness, she survived, but the rest of her team didn't. But yeah, that
I still got to give her a D minus,
mm,
as far if I'm grading her.
yeah, that's why she hasn't got an F because But yeah, she's been used to create a page of their Necronomicon, and yeah, they're not being nice about it. And like,
Yeah,
they're sturdy chairs, you have to say. Like, there's people in actual like CIA black sites like don't get tied up as well. Like the fact she's tied up this rickety chair being
yeah.
bled dry and stuff, and then there's still enough room to maneuver to shove her forward to like remove part of her skin to make the page. I love the way it's just perfect as well. That's
I
art.
was I was just gonna say, like, say what you will about Ruby, that was some beautiful calligraphy, a beautiful work with the way
I just said the page is exact size. Everything just beautifully taken. If that was
Yeah.
me, there'd be like raggedy marks and stuff. You know what I mean? I'd make an absolute hash of it.
Oh my gosh. If I was Zoe, I would be like, look, I disagree vehemently with what you're doing to me, but damn it, that looks really good.
Have you ever made pork crackling?
No, no.
So you get a pork joint, right? And what you do is you take the skin off and then you slice it, you scar it, and then you salt and pepper, or loads of salt, actually, butter and pepper, salt, put it in the oven. That's how you get pork crackling.
Oh, okay.
Right. So trying to take, that's the basic equivalent. If you take skin off like pork or something, that, you know what I mean? Not saying, but if you just want to practice, folks, but you know, just to get the experience, not to go dismembering humans. YouTube, we're not saying that. Calm down. But try to take that off neatly, you know, without all, because the fat's like bubbly. Get yourself a pork joint sometime. They're cheap, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
have a crack, and you see the fat in there is like bubbly when you're trying to take it off. I get that so it's nice and neat on the flesh. It's not easy.
It sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. But it's good though.
Folks, should I do like a random add-on video where I show you how to do it?
Oh my gosh, horrific cooking. A cooking
Just-
segment.
No, don't start me on me. Me making dodgy shit.
That actually could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's not an easy thing to do. And yeah,
Credit to Ruby. Great job,
Yep.
Ruby.
yeah, just beautifully just beautifully clarified the pages and everything else. And yeah. But yeah, Zoe's not having a good day.
And it was kind of nice because, you know, Ruby has been less than truthful throughout the series. So, I mean, we always knew that she, or I think the audience believed when she said she created the book, she wrote the book. But to actually see it like this, it's kind of cool because you think about all the different movies and stuff like that, and it like all ties back together to her. And now to actually see how the pages got made, I don't know. It was just like a cool little, you know, treat for the fans to kind of see it all tie together, literally tied together.
And it was interesting seeing Kelly, or you know, Dana playing Kaya, you know, possess Kelly's body. Just
Yeah.
even the way she carried herself and everything's different.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that last stream. She did a fantastic job, Dina De Lorenzo. I mean, you literally felt like there was a completely different person. And Pablo, the actor for, you know, Pablo did the same thing this season, you know, when he's possessed. Like, that's not an easy task to play one character possessed by another character, because you can't lose the first character completely.
Yeah.
But you have to act differently with your body and stuff like that. It's not as easy as they make it look.
No, it's but they do make it look easy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Once again, why I'm annoyed they haven't been used in the franchise since.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's completely shitty.
Yeah.
When you've got assets there that have proved themselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, obviously we bounced back and we're dealing with the aftermath of Brandy being brought back from the Deadlands, you know, Andy and Ash, and Brandy and Ash. God, they're really... I wish we'd spent more time with Brandy's character development. They're sort of speedrunning her, but once again, there's another character with potential completely wasted.
And
I like her. I like her character. I don't know. I never thought about it much before, but now I'm like, bloody hell, she's brilliant in this.
Me too. You know, a lot of casual fans, if they haven't really watched this or maybe watched an episode or two, if they had made Brandy the next, you know, Ash for the movie, they might have said like, "Oh, here we go again." They're taking a male character and they're replacing her with a female character. It's gonna. But if you actually watch the show the way we have and appreciate Brandy's character, she actually would have been a great successor for Ash.
Plus, it's been a few years, so she'd be appearing like Rise, Evil Dead. I know because obviously the 2013, um, God, not Vanacek. Oh my God, I forget the name of the actor now. Fede Alvarez. Sorry, the Alvarez
Okay.
one was before the series, so couldn't use there. But imagine having Brandy appear in Evil Dead Rise as a protagonist to help.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been beautiful. You know what I mean? You've got everybody in the apartment, they're dealing with this shit, but Brandy arrives, and meets what's her face? I even forget the new characters because I don't give a shit about them. But the new one that survived, right? You
Yeah.
know, you've dealt with this now. Now we need to go do this. Incorporate her in. It would have
Yeah.
been amazing.
Just even like you said, even just incorporate her. Even if you don't want to go that route, you want to start like a new protagonist, fine. But use her because it ties into this great show, you know? You know how like there's always the wise character that, imparts some advice to the protagonist, but it's still the hero's journey. So
Mm-hmm.
the wise character has to get out of the way. She could have been that. You know how like you always have to get exposition, like people like the new characters in the new movie have to learn about the book. They have to
Yeah.
learn about the Evil Dead. She could have imparted that wisdom to them. Just use her,
But
like,
they're
or
young
use
enough to
someone.
be. They're young. It's not like she's no. You know what I mean? Young characters should be brilliant. Instead of
Yeah,
these like I could not get with the protagonists in the last two movies, but here we've got Brandy and like she's wrecked. And she's like, I don't suffer from hangovers. I also don't suffer from the residual effects of coming back from the dead. Because at this point, everybody has come back from the dead at some point. You know what I mean? It just casually, yeah, welcome to the club sort of thing. And she's going through it, but then you could see her in 5 years' time from this series going, yeah, it's okay. You've just come back from the dead. You get used to it.
yeah, yeah,
She's earned that even in this short period of time.
yeah. Definitely, she absolutely has. And I
And this
love the.
is, sorry,
No, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is about earning your place. This is the point I make about characters in movies. You make the character earn their spot, you make them earn your loyalty.
Mm,
We're having it right here.
yeah, and there were some great character moments with her and Ash too that I really enjoyed in this one. Where she's like nauseous and like Ash Williams at the beginning of season one would have been like, go to the bathroom, let me know when you're done. But they've gained that. Obviously, it's father and daughter, but even still, he cares about her and like he's holding her even when she throws up on his shoulder.
Do
You
you know
know?
who I'm starting to think about? Was it Big Daddy and Hit Girl out of Kick Ass?
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
starting to see that. I mean, that dynamic starting to form. Oh my god!
yeah.
There's this could have went on, like I've said, and you got a duo, tag team.
Right.
There's the
Yeah,
torch being passed, but yeah,
yeah,
it's even though they're speed running this, like it was a good handoff the character, but it just I could have went with another season of this.
oh, at least, yeah, for sure. But Brandy had some great moments in this one. Um, I don't want to step ahead of what
Mm-hmm.
where you're going, but yeah, she had some really good moments. I enjoyed her a lot in this one.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, then we get Pablo. He can see through the book now, and he's even getting more control of his powers. You could see him actually not being overwhelmed by it, so he can see what Ruby and etcetra's up to. And then obviously they're upset that Kelly hasn't come back,
Right.
and they can't figure out why. And then that's where he's actually looking through the book and realizes that Kelly's body's possessed. And that's
Yeah,
why Kelly can't come back from the Deadlands.
I thought that was a great story beat because like we know that he's the El Brujo Especial. It's always funny to say, but like there's an easy trope you could do as a writer where that just becomes like this all powerful thing. Like whenever whenever you need an answer, as a writer, you could just fill in. Well, Pablo could find out, or Pablo will know, or Pablo will open the rift. It's kind of an easy thing to do once a character has a ambiguous power to kind of take it too far. But him looking through the book actually seemed to fit because he was becoming the book in prior seasons. So it almost, when it happened, it almost to me seemed like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they didn't overdo his power. Like that seemed like a legitimate outcome of his past experience. You know what I mean?
And on the flip side, they could have made it very easy for Ruby. Like there could be like about 6 Necronomicons written at this point, but they're communicating that this is not an easy process.
Right.
On both sides, dealing with a Necronomicon is not it's not something to be trifled with. They haven't diminished the power of the Necronomicon.
Yeah. For sure.
And dealing with it's not something even a master, a demon has trouble. You know what I mean? Why hasn't Ruby written about 10 pages, not bothered written a completely new book? It's not something, you know what I mean? That like if you go back to season 1, why is she looking for that book? She could have written her own.
Right.
It takes a toll, and I think they've managed to communicate that.
And I wanted to ask you, because I might be off on the timeline of when the other movies came out, but at this point, had they established in the lore that there could be other Necronomicons?
This is a sequel to Army of Darkness.
Right. No, I know that, but is it
but that's what I'm saying. In the timeline, this is after the events, the alternate timeline where Ash comes back, obviously not the far future, but he comes back the current time.
Okay.
That it's set up that the problem is because of the rights. Army Dark, this is with a completely different studio. They have to be very careful how they reference it. I think that's been the Achilles heel of the show, is they can't lean into Army of Darkness and the events there. I reckon if they had the rights to that show, they'd have done a lot more with it.
Interesting thought about that, because I was trying to do some research after about the Army of Darkness thing, and Bruce Campbell intimated in an interview that it wasn't the fact that the studio that owned Army of Darkness said no. It actually, they said yes, but it would have, yeah, right. Then they would have had, and not even, he said it wasn't even so much the money, although that was a factor, that they would have gotten a piece of everything, but that they wanted some creative control in how Army of Darkness was used in the show. And that's what Sam Raimi said, it's not worth it. Like, we don't want to have to, like, run things past you. And
once you create by committee, we've seen this. Yeah. When's that ever been good?
Right.
Once you have another, I mean, it's bad enough having a committee of executives. And don't forget as well, although Netflix took this on, it's still got the Stars logo.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the committee team from Stars still involved. Because that's the way they write these shitty contracts. Don't forget, these are teams of lawyers and stuff.
Yeah.
They're involved in this crap. So you've still got a committee team somehow from Stars involved in this, even though they didn't want to carry it on, but they're still going to be involved because that's the whole grift of Hollywood. Everyone wants to stick their finger in the pie, even if they're not creating the thing. And that's how things go to absolute rat shit. The fact that they were able to steer this ship at all is a testament to their love for the franchise, because you wouldn't do this, let's be honest, unless you absolutely loved something.
Oh, you could see the care that's went into this. Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't push through everything that you're having to deal with in the background. And despite the persona, Ash, Ash has this thing, Bruce Campbell has this thing where he has a snarky persona. That's his gimmick, that's his stick, so to speak. But you peel that aside and you have somebody that's, very polite. Because how many celebrities have went on and just badmouth things? I look at the younger ones, haven't got a clue about diplomacy or anything. They're more diplomatic than I am. You know what I mean? You look at the ones that have tanked movies.
Yeah.
Something you're obviously, really invested in. The Dungeons and Dragons movie is a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
The director gobbed off. He had no business gobbing off. He had not, you know what I mean? And what he said didn't match with the movie,
Yeah.
but he gobbed off and, thought he was being big man and he tanked his own movie.
Yeah.
And any chance of a sequel, there could easily have been a couple of sequels.
I think Supergirl, the actress who played Supergirl, said something right before the movie came out, and that kind of tanked that movie too.
She has a snarky looking face. She is. There's an ugliness about her. Do you know what I'm saying? There's something about she's like a permanent sneer or something. Like I've seen her. Obviously, it pops up, like press junkets and stuff. And that I've yet to hear her speak, but like like full discussion or anything. But there's something about her just puts me off her.
Yeah. I got you. But yeah, I mean that's
that's how easy it is to just put people off. The way you carry yourself. Like if you could radiate it, it's not even about physicality or how you look. There's something inside. I don't think people realize this now, but there's something inside each of us that shows your personality, and it transcends into your physicality. I'm sure there's big words and smart words in books about this. I don't know them. I'm just like using my observations of life to describe this, but definitely you could have somebody who's really attractive, but their ugliness of their character comes through, and you see it, and once you see it and notice it, you can't unnotice it. And funny enough, you see it now, like the people screaming into their phones in cars, that sort of content. And you see these objectively attractive women going, "I can't get a date," and they speak for about 20 seconds, and you're like, "That's why." And that's how they are. Really, it's you see the blokes, they're all chiseled and stuff, and sculpted abs and that, and they speak for about 20 seconds. They don't understand why they can't get anything meaningful in life, is because there's an ugliness in them that transcends their physicality, and when you see it, you can't. When it's like something in the back of your lizard brain.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. And Bruce Campbell was the antithesis of that. He's got such charisma. He's so likable, and he just whenever he's on the screen, like you can't help but smile, no matter what craziness is happening.
But when you see him like in conventions, I think that's the best thing to see him during his Q&As and his convention appearances.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of those this week. Yeah.
Right, and you see that it's an act, and people buy it. It's like a comedian. He is a comedian. Let's be honest, he's a comedian. He rips apart his fans.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the joke, and he's in on the joke, and the fans in on the joke. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like somebody goes, like, you don't sit in the front row of a comedy show unless you're expected to get ripped apart. You know what I mean? You willingly take part in that. It's all part of the experience, and it's not a negative one. Nobody's been like, everyone knows it's a joke. It's not serious, and that's maybe I'm not using the right words, but that comes across. Look at other franchises. Look at other creators that don't have that. Their character shows through, and that's why people just step away. But there's a reason this has a core fan base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't stick with something unless you feel like it's being made for you. And at this point, I still feel like it's being made for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, greetings, Luna. Here, it's early to the party, whatever he's on. I mean, this is a weird time to be streaming, but we're doing it. You know what I mean? Appreciate you turning up.
Yeah, Luna, thanks for being here.
And thank you very much.
That's
you guys
very
are too generous, honestly.
Luna, you always make every stream better. Good to have you.
And I've just seen your Hellboy invite, so obviously we'll be over on Luna's channel soon discussing Hellboy.
Who's your favorite actor?
Oh yeah, but there's an example. He's got an internal ugliness about him. You know what I mean? You see him going off and stuff as well, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Just nasty person.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean with these characters. They are these guys in Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't know. They're invested. They want you to have a good time. They're invested in the characters,
Yeah.
and I don't believe they hate the audience.
And you know how hard it is to make one likable character that the
Mhm.
audience likes? They somehow managed, in my opinion, to make four this season. To have four likable characters. I mean, Ruby is supposed to be a villain, so you could make a case that she should be included as well. But the four ghost beaters,
Yeah.
just they're all just enjoyable when they're on the screen, and they're enjoyable especially when they're on the screen together. And we got to see that in this one, which made it even better. This
Mhm.
episode 9, season
Yeah.
3.
But like I said, Brandy's all ready to go, and he never went, "You're a kid, you're a girl." He never dismissed it. No, you're too weak. You'd have just been through something, and once again, everyone goes, that misogyny, blah, blah, blah. No, she's just
No?
been, this is her first time through, like, resurrected from death. You know what I mean? She's still wobbly. And the fact that not only does he go, no, you're too weak, stay here. By the way, here's my boomstick.
Yeah. Here's my boomstick. There you go.
And it wasn't
Right.
even, do you know why some other people would, some other shows would make that so contrived? It would either be really condescending or really cheesy. They either completely dismiss her or girl. No, she's earned her place on the team.
Right.
It's just she's got absolutely malleted, which, let's be honest, if you've been killed and then resurrected again, and you just been through this. Yeah. It made sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody questioned it, and nobody questioned that she was being diminished in any sense.
Right. Yeah. A lot of shows would either have him try to like take her somewhere safe and like lock her up so that she's safe, or like you said, probably the flip side is probably more common nowadays, where she would basically have no fear and tell him to stay home, and then it would be her going to Ruby's house.
Yeah.
So this towed the line perfectly, where he enabled her, he treated her like an adult, but also, yeah, it's his daughter. She's just been, literally came back from the dead, so he's not going to bring her with him to take on the demon, but he's giving her a shotgun and saying, hey, do keep the family tradition going. Take out some zombies. Take out some deadites.
That was it. And I just loved the bit that last bit of bile, yeah, don't worry about it,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It was almost like baby getting burped, you know what I mean?
That's what
anyone who's burped the baby knows that comes part of the parcel.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too. There were some sweet moments which I thought you needed, and I thought they
in a horror movie, horror
yeah,
series,
yeah,
blood. Everyone's covered in blood.
Their pacing has been great. If it was all, you always say, if it's all one note, then you just become desensitized to it. Their pacing has been great. They've mixed in some really great character moments. Yeah.
Then we'll have Pablo. He's going to go close the rift, and yeah, Ash is going to go fight Ruby.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Mettle of Man is dead by daylight. Cool.
I wonder if Dead by Daylight took that from this, or just
probably did. Yeah, it's Dead by Daylight's. It's a horror game, but it's a horror game for horror fans. If that makes sense. Like it's all the Easter eggs. Like I think if you're not a horror fan, you'll not get the same experience.
I think Ash Williams is in that. I think
there's loads of characters.
So obviously they're familiar with the names.
Yeah, but they don't just. It's not just the skin. That's something that annoys me about was it Call of Duty, the dopey skins they put in. But it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
and they want you to pay money just for a skin to run about, and I never got into that. That side of gaming, I never, not my thing.
Yeah, yeah, for
That
sure.
sort of crowd, but yeah, that's something I want to get going on the channel once I get things sorted. Get Dead by Daylight and start playing some of that, just having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah,
Because the game does seem like it's just, that's what it's for horror fans, and it's the Easter eggs are there for you to pick up on.
if you like the
Okay.
game, you can check out Luda's channel where they play that Crypto Fright, I should say.
Yep.
So they've already had one or two gaming sessions. You can check out the game, see if you like it.
Yep. Then we'll at some point we'll do like a crossover,
Yeah,
like we'll stream at the same time and just tune into both channels. So that's a plan.
Cool. That'd be cool.
Sometime in the future.
That'd be cool.
Unlike the Evil Dead game where Adam and I tried that and we all failed miserably because we were crap at the game because the game's pretty hard.
I've never played it, but it has a reputation of being.
That was one of the first
game.
games. So Cameron, Adam, and I we all played the Evil Dead game, and I streamed it mine, and Adam streamed it his. So you could get both point of views for the characters. And I mean, some random had to come in, not a noob, but a random had to come in and help us out, join the team. And at the end, we were all dead. All three of us are like wiped out. And the noob was the one that actually completed the mission because we were like, thanks, random username who we don't know. But
what characters can you play on? I know obviously Ash, but could you play Pablo? Could you play?
You can play Pablo. You can play Kelly. You can play
cool.
Robert the Red. You can play King Arthur. You can.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
like one of the missions, there's the main game itself where it's the 3 versus 1. So basically it's a 4v1. 4 of the players play the antagonist, 1 person plays a Kandarian demon. My God, trying to play the Kandarian demon in that game is even harder than the other ones. Seeing you do the free stuff, trying to control your demon as it's flying about the place. Oh my God, the game is ridiculously hard. But then you've got the solo missions. So, for example, the one where you have to chop Cheryl's head off, then go and bury her body, and then you go dig it up again, and because it's taken from the movies.
Yeah,
cool. But you get to a certain point, and if you're in the dark, you've got the fear meter, so the fear meter goes up, so you can't just stumble about the place. You have to light fires or stay under light, or else if your fear meter goes up, you get possessed and become a deadite. Game over.
Gotcha.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah. That sounds
and then you've got to fight things.
Yeah.
That's game's evil. That is an evil game. It just hates you.
That's awesome.
There's some cool stuff where gamers are playing and Bruce Campbell's sitting at his throne, commentating with the streamers. It's weird. When that game came out, there was some cool online stuff, plugs for it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, Pablo, once again, this is back to you say about not doing the contrivance with Pablo's abilities.
Right.
He goes to try and close the rift again, and it's not happening.
Yeah. They didn't make him too powerful, which I liked. Yeah. So yeah, here come the dark ones that have been, they've done a great job building up to this moment. So you've heard about them for so long that they almost automatically have that gravitas, even though you don't really see anything. It's just a hooded figure, which is also a good choice. Yeah.
Don't reveal the big monster or don't overuse the big monster. Have the effect of them. So yeah, it's just people running about in robes, but you give it that bit that's just enough off camera. You don't quite see them. They're not quite in the plane. But yeah, Pablo tries to close the rift, but yeah, he just gets basically swatted aside. Like, nah, we're coming through.
Yeah. And that was cool that they didn't kill him, because when I'm watching it, I was like, oh, how is he going to get out of this? He's done for. But because they, recognize him as being part of the Necronomicon, which again is great building of story up to this moment, because it's believable. Yeah,
it's just like having a deadite run about. They just ignore him. They don't stop to talk to every deadite. They're just doing their things.
Yeah. So that all made sense. I'm telling you, for a wacky horror comedy, all the plot points made sense, and it makes for a very enjoyable view. Where someone like me, whose mind wanders off into some weird places, very few times during the show have I really like stopped and like, oh, that doesn't make sense, and then I get distracted. That happens in almost every TV show and every movie
Mm.
for me, and it really did not happen much. Everything seemed to fit. Everything seemed to be, obviously it's not real, but it all kind of fit together where I wasn't bothered by any plot point that took me out
No, it
of it.
makes
Yeah,
it's with the lore. You know what the lore is,
yeah,
and it fits. Well, once again, this is my issue with these movies.
yeah,
Not it's like even in the last one there, Burn. The Necronomicon wasn't even a Necronomicon. It was fucking photocopied pages. It was
yeah,
bullshit. It was
yeah.
utter bullshit. I was just like, I just felt like the movie was going fuck you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I really did. It was horrible. Sorry if you enjoyed it, but as an Evil Dead movie, I felt like it was like there was a bit of yeah, you're just going to turn up sort of thing. You're an Evil Dead fan. Fuck you. You'll just turn up because you're stupid. I really felt that with that last movie.
Hmm. They're just
And
taking advantage of the brand, just hoping you'll
yeah,
show up because,
that's what it really felt like.
yeah,
And when you see the effort, like you say, about all the little points to tie this together, I think the worst death scene in this has to be the chainsaw. Like Ash goes to battle Ruby, and Ruby's trying to tell him where is the rift. You know what I mean? Because the dark ones are coming through, but there's no trust here or love. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, they sold it like the death of the chainsaw. Like that was definitely a character death because it's not just a chainsaw; it's the chainsaw.
yeah. And especially knowing that this was the last two episodes,
Hmm.
this did kind of feel like a very, final.
Doors
like,
closed. Yeah,
yeah, doors closing. It did have that finality to it that actually did make it sad. And
I
yeah,
was gutted. You know
yeah.
what I mean? I forgot. You know what I mean? I gutted it.
Now,
You know what I mean?
would you have liked if they did like a montage of like happy memories with the chainsaw,
Chainsaw.
or that have gone too far?
I know I'd have gone a bit too far because if if I had more time,
Yeah, yeah,
the problem is there's no time left. Like if there had been a series 4 of this, that would have been a good opener.
yeah,
He looks at his hand, there's nothing there, or he's given a new chainsaw, but it's not the same. And then the
yeah,
happy memories, that
yeah.
would have been a good like an aftermath sort of
Right.
flashback thing.
Yeah, flashback and all these different memories with the chainsaw, and then he's running through a field to the chainsaw.
Yeah, that would have been perfect for a later episode
Yeah, yeah,
to deal with the aftermath of all this. But yeah, just that moment of the no crunch and no even the blade, and it's like
yeah.
yeah, I felt that one.
But it's an effective way also to convey the threat of a new villain is to have a take out something that we care about. In this
Mhm,
case, it's a chainsaw. In other movies, it's a close, friend or relative or
mhm.
the wife of the character. Like that's the way to impart the threat. Is like, okay, this sidekick that's been along with the protagonist the whole time, they're gone. So
Well, they did
now,
that loads of times in Knight Rider.
yeah, sure,
How many
yeah,
times did Kit get mangled?
yeah, exactly, yeah,
And then a couple of times Michael got mangled as well. And Kit's like, one without the other doesn't work.
yeah,
I'm looking at you,
yeah.
Knight Rider 2000. Uh, there's another franchise Val Kilmer killed as well.
Oh, I forgot.
Do you
Wow, I
remember that
forgot.
series?
Yeah, I
Remember the
forgot.
reboot? Oh dear.
Yeah, I forgot. Wow.
Same we're talking about Batman at the start. There's Val Kilmer, the franchise killer, you know what I mean? With his fucking robotic dead voice.
If anyone on their horrific bingo card had Batman and Knight Rider, they're doing
Yeah.
very well right now.
Well done. You've got the grand prize. Oh dear. You could make a bingo card, just put anything on it, because we literally can talk about anything during the stream, because that's just the way it works.
But Jennifer Lawrence is the center square. That's the free space.
I haven't mentioned her in ages.
No, you actually haven't. You've been good. I keep bringing it up because it's funny.
Yeah, but just become a non-entity. I mean, funny for the time, but now it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole thing. Ruby's trying to get Ash to tell her where the rift is, because they know the Dark Ones are coming. They're doing this whole thing with the page. They're trying to, prevent them from coming back through the rift, because they know that they're going to get punished. Not that it's out of fear as much as world dominance. And yeah, Ash is working with that, and it's just.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was, as you started to say that with Ruby, I started to think, like, do you think they would have been better off if they had just gone along with Ruby? Like, Ruby was trying to prevent the Dark Ones from coming in. Like, what was Ruby's version of what the world would be like under her control versus what we saw? Because, not to skip ahead, but what we saw was not very good. No. So would they have been better off if they had just let Ruby do what she wanted to?
That's almost like, well, would you rather have Hitler or Stalin?
Yeah,
sort of. You know what I mean? That's what it is, because we've seen Ruby in action, and the world isn't great under her either.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah. She's trying to close the rift, obviously, and keep the Dark Ones in the Deadlands and not come through to the world. She's trying to save Kaya, which was, I don't know, that's the only plot point I'm not getting with. Because that's the only bit that feels like it's shoehorned in. Is the Kaya character.
Yeah, it didn't. That's a great point. It didn't really play out the way I thought it would. It felt like Kaya was being set up to betray Ruby, and then she just never got paid off. She never got the chance. There were some times where Kaya, as portrayed by Dina De Laurentiis, was looking side-eyed at Ruby, or they definitely were not on the same page. Obviously, they had been rivals in the past. So I was kind of expecting some sort of confrontation or backstabbing or something, and we just never got any of it. So that's a good point. I didn't realize in the moment, but that could have been handled better.
Was it a time thing? That's the only. Really? Unfortunately, that's the thing with reviewing this last season, is it's time. It's they're only getting one season. It was the last one to wrap things up.
Yeah.
So there's stuff here that could have been in the writing floor to carry on. You know what I mean? And I don't think I just think because the season we weren't getting another season after this, that's why it didn't. So they're just trying to wrap things up. Right. But it just felt like this is a whole plot point that didn't really pay off. But thankfully, there's enough going on that we were able to get over it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
But this is obviously the Deadites have been released. The Necronomicon's back in the earthly plane. The Dark Ones have come through now, and just chaos that comes with them.
Yeah.
But we have to take a moment to appreciate American sports bars. What absolute hives of misery and just sadness those things are. They really are. There's no.
But that was a nice one. That one had a mechanical bull. They had a lot of peanuts, which Kelly had a tough time keeping people's hands out of.
I refer to previous episodes where we've talked about the whole peanut study.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. Once you hear that, you don't forget that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just not something about the American sports bars, and I've been in one or two. They're just miserable.
Yeah.
You'd be better just sitting at home. Honestly, you'd be better just sitting at home with a few cans and a TV than going to an American sports bar.
Yeah.
Don't get it. What is the point of them? Just misery. Here's misery and within four walls. Going.
I think you hit on it. I think it's the whole misery loves company thing. I think that's what it is. Even if they're just sitting in their drink, not talking to anyone, there's still a bartender there. There's still someone there. I think there's something to that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something, and this is well portrayed. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah. It's sad. It is sad. I'll give that to you. Yeah.
I've yet to see one, even when there's like a game playing. It's just, there's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
Anti-atmosphere. There's more atmosphere in the street than at the bar. There's a flipping the undead are running about and demons.
Yeah.
Then we get.
I was gonna say it's cool. It was cool to see the town just get flipped upside down and just chaos. That was great. Yeah.
They didn't believe. I almost think that's retribution against Elk Grove for not believing Nash.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I think they're getting retribution now. Okay, so you didn't believe him. Well, guess what? You're gonna be the center of this, the epicenter of all of it. You'll believe now, you fuckers.
Yeah.
But this is actually my favorite bit in the episode is Brandy essentially going through her crucible. This is her one-on-one battle with the Deadites, and actually, like, it could have been the tools she had in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, but her actually going through this, the Deadite comes into the house, breaks through, she's trying to deal with it, and then she ends up having to deal with they're using her mother, which is what the Deadites do. They use your loved ones to mess with your head, even the whole thing with the phone and stuff in the battle. Like, this is her, like, going through her baptism of fire, which was great.
Yeah, and the bit with the thumb, that was intense. She literally, I don't know if they came back to that later on, but opposable thumbs are pretty important, as it turns out. And she just kind of got bitten off. Like, for the rest of her, her career as a Deadite hunter, she's gonna have to deal with that the same way Ash had to deal with the loss of his hand. She had no thumb. That was intense, that scene. Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, to see her go through that arc, no one was there to help her. It was all her. She had to fight a cell phone talking like her mom that literally bit her thumb off. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, would have just hidden a corner and waited for the end at that point. And she had to battle through that, using only what was around, very, very cool scene. It made me like her even more.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. It's about earned place, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They're making this character, and they're making her earn her spot.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's what you want. You want that. Yeah, it's rushed. We're getting this all like in 2 episodes, but still.
Yeah.
That's what you want a character, you want a passing of the torch, you make that character earn their place and make you understand why they're chosen or why they're going to carry the mantle. Right. And this one-on-one battle, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, she's not going to be slick, and fucking Ash isn't even slick in that there. You know what I mean? He's an idiot, but still, there's something locks inside. The family genes or something. Comes to battle in this. This family's been put in this earth to battle evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I said I just like that whole sequence. That's once again Brandy's coming out stronger. She's been through a bit more. Like, it's not just she's there. It's not like a flick of a switch and all of a sudden she's a girl boss. Right. And they're not keeping her as a cowering simpleton either. Something to be protected. You know what I mean? We're seeing the progression of like think of Kelly's progression at the start.
Mm-hmm.
you know, got this rage demon of herself, you know, when it comes to fighting these things.
Yeah,
Digs into, you know what I mean? Kelly digs into pure anger, which we'll see later on. Again, you know, that's how she fights.
and Brandy's progression is very similar in terms of pacing and how long it took her
Mm.
to Ash in the original Evil Dead. You know, Ash in the original Evil Dead was not, you know, killing deadites and cocky from the start.
No, it was
I
Evil Dead
think that,
2.
yeah,
That
yeah,
started to happen.
right. And Evil Dead, and you know, he basically was the same as Brandy was in this moment,
Mm-hmm.
afraid but still, you know, doing his best, but definitely not in control like he became, you know, like
Yep.
he is now. So I really like to see that. It was kind of like a coming of age or an homage to the original character arc of Ash, and this time portrayed by his daughter. You know, I just thought that was a great scene. You're right. That's a good call.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, they took time in this episode to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
you earned a bit more respect for the character.
Right. Exactly.
Um, I don't know how. Once again, I can only put it down to time. I'm going to come back and saying this. But when the Dark Ones actually confront Ruby and Kaya, like there was no battle there.
Did you like that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It justifies their fear.
Yes.
So it justifies the fact they're terrified. I don't think we had long enough to. Do you know what? If season 2 hadn't been Baal, I think this is the stumbling block.
Mm.
We had the Baal story arc in season 2, which I don't know. Did we have enough time to? We saw how powerful he was, even compared to Ruby, right? You almost needed to see someone like him get stripped away, like quickly
Right.
or something. I don't know. It's the jump in the plot, and I think that's where a lot of people have a problem with this series anyway. I feel like the Dark Ones should be a season 4 or a season 5 thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I could definitely see where fans of the show could look at this and say the way Ruby was handled in this moment was totally unfair. This is a character who's been a main figure on the show from the very beginning, probably a selling point to a lot of casual fans when they heard that Lucy Lawless was going to be, you know, reunited with Bruce Campbell. So to have that character who's been a big part of the show from the very beginning kind of dismissed in a mere, you know, seconds in the scene, not even to come back at all in the final episode. I could see a lot of fans being turned off by that. I see that side of it, and I'm not dismissing that. There's a valid point to that. I do see the other side of it though, is you're trying to convey that this is the ultimate threat, a bigger threat than Ruby, and the reason why Ruby had talked about it was so afraid. And to have them so easily dismiss her when Ruby has taken out Kelly, has fought Ash tooth and nail to a draw,
But even
to
Ruby
have
against
her
Baal dominated her, but she still held her own to a point.
right, right, and to have her now easily dismissed, almost immediately puts that new threat above anything we've seen on the show from a threat standpoint,
Yes.
attention standpoint. So I didn't mind it, but I could see why people may not like that.
Yeah. And then we had this whole character arc of, I think because it didn't get paid off. So should Kaya, if this was going to carry on, once again, I think it's a whole mess behind everything.
Yeah.
I honestly think the plan was for Kaya to come back, and by bringing Kaya back, this was going to irk the Dark Ones, and then I think that was going to be the next season.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would
So
like that.
this season was basically Ruby trying to bring Kaya back,
Hmm.
and by succeeding to a point, that's what unleashed the Dark Ones. I think because they've been told, yeah, Netflix, we're going to give you one season. That's all we're doing. We're not going to carry on. This is the end of it.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Um, they knew this was it, and they're trying to wrap everything up.
Hmm.
And this is where sacrifices have to be made, as in plot sacrifices.
Yeah.
Because what was the point of the Kaya story arc? It was to
Right.
piss off the Dark Ones. That was going to. I think that was going to be the end of this season. Was Kaya being released, brought into the world, and then that summoning the ire of the Dark Ones, and they now know that there's rifts that they can enter the world, etc. And that was going to be the
Yeah.
basis of the next one, that they're going to find another rift. They're going to have to stop them. Now, were Ruby, Kaya, and the team going to have to work together again?
Mhm.
Like the villain arc, sort of going to have to work together to stop it. I don't
Like
know.
like the villain Ghostbusters, Ghost
Mhm.
Beaters.
No,
Yeah.
but you know why Ruby joined the
Yeah.
team
Right. Right.
out of his once her children turned on her?
Right. Yeah.
I was almost going to be like that. They were going to have
Oh, I
the,
see. Yeah.
you know, going to have to get the help of Ash begrudgingly because, yeah, she's got Kaya back, but now they've got the Dark Ones are definitely coming through now, where they weren't
Yeah.
bothered before.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility that they started the season, the writers did, with that in mind, and then they get to a certain point and are told that they're not coming back, and now that changes everything. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's valid. Yeah,
You just get
and
this sense of wrapping up,
yeah,
with this.
and it's a shame because there's enough branches that they could have
Oh, this
easily.
could have
Yeah,
went on. Oh my god, you could have gone there 3 seasons out less easily. This is just set up, and with the lore being that strong, and they can dip into parts of it, and that's I mean they had this set up. Um,
yeah.
you could have went on easily.
The Knights of Samaria in itself could have been a whole arc. We could have seen more of their history. We could have seen some decent
Training
one.
montages, you know what I mean? Is he
Yeah,
going to grab the rest of the Knights of Samaria? Right, you screwheads, just,
yeah,
just like so. Picture Ash getting all the Knights of Samaria. Go right, you knuckleheads. You've all got a boomstick now. Just
that's
uh,
right.
that start to train them.
Yeah, this there could have been a lot of great comedy bits off of that. So it's tough not to watch this and think, oh, what if, you know? But
Mhm.
I had the benefit of watching this knowing that it was only 3 seasons. I bet there was a lot of people, perhaps even yourself, that were watch this hoping that it might come back and
Well,
then
we were glad it came back because obviously we knew about the cancellation and stars and it being the end of its run, and this coming back, it was great. But
but I'm saying when you were watching this season, did you know for sure it wasn't coming back
no,
again, or was it always the hope, right?
yeah,
So
and there was this feeling of it being off.
yeah,
Like everyone watched this, went, "What the hell happened with season 3?"
okay, okay. So maybe I have a different perspective knowing that
Yeah,
this was all we were going to get. Maybe I
that's
naturally
and I'm
appreciated it
glad we're
more.
able to do this because
Yeah,
I'm able to come back. Because, like I said, I've watched this multiple times, but I've binge watched it because it's just one of them shows. It's binge worthy,
yeah,
and this is forcing me to take my time to think about this. 2 episodes at a time has been invaluable,
right.
if that makes sense,
Yeah,
and has given me a chance to reflect and think back on what happened. Where my memory of this before is just, yeah, 2 great seasons and a weird third one.
hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you have a little bit more of an appreciation for this third season now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And
Yeah,
when you go back and you know things and that, and you can revisit it, but also taking the time between, not just binging the whole thing, but going into each of the episodes and seeing what they've done.
yeah,
It it's sad because you see it's all there. You see the current effort. you see the plot, the writing, which is the most important thing in any piece of art, be TV or film. If you don't have the writing, everything else falls apart.
Yeah,
Everything else is just
100%.
window dressing.
Yeah,
And I've come to appreciate that more through these reviews. Is that's what makes it the writing, the characters, then the story.
right. Yeah, I
Because
agree.
you need the characters, you need the writing, you need the story there first. The characters, the ones that carry it through, and then sorry, everything else is after that. Special effects, costumes, set pieces. It doesn't matter. That's all window dressing.
Yeah, I agree.
Ah, um, I think there was a puppet or a model of Kelly used as opposed to Kelly herself, because that poor girl gets dragged about the place.
I was very envious of Pablo because he's got her flopped over his shoulder, and he's you know
Yeah.
he got a good
But
view for
if
for
you
a while.
if you think about it, like Ash just grabs her, she's getting trailed along by the hand as he nicks her body essentially.
Yeah,
She's dumped in the car. She's strapped to a bloody trolley. You know what I mean? That has to be that had to have made a life caster. I need to look back at that
it almost
because
reminded me of Weekend at Bernie's.
mhm,
They could have
yeah,
done a whole season
there's
of
there is that, isn't there? Because Kelly's body is just like getting thrown about the place.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then this is obviously the building up for the finale because in the Dark Ones, they have the pages, they have the book, they reunite the book in its entirety,
Yeah,
and then they release Kandar itself, the mega demon.
yeah, and it was great because the entire show has been building up. It's not like Stranger Things. All of a sudden, season 5 has a new villain. That didn't make sense if you watch season 1 or 2. And they try to tie it together. Oh, he was the man behind the scenes the whole time. It doesn't add up. A lot of shows do that where they try to retroactively make the
Because
new
they don't have a
villain
plan, they
make
write
sense.
themselves in their
Yeah,
corner.
yeah. But this has a plan because they've been talking about the Dark Ones, and I don't know if they necessarily mentioned Candor before now, but they've been talking about the threat, and like
No,
here
but
it
obviously,
is, like yeah,
Kandar, the place, the Kandarian dagger, it's all there.
yeah, yeah, and
Kandarian
yeah,
demons, what I mean, everything's off Kandar. It's all,
yeah,
what I mean, it's maybe not specifically played out, but it's there. You know what I mean? You don't have a mental disassociation when you think of the Kandar the demon appear. You're like, yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
definitely. And it's a fun, rival for Ash because I think everything else he's fought has been somewhat similar in size to him. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think of the movies. I apologize if I'm forgetting something, but he certainly never had to fight anything this big.
No,
And
one and Evil Dead 1 and 2, basically bog standard deadites.
yeah,
Army of Darkness, he's fighting himself, Evil Ash, you know what I mean? And anything's, if anything, he fights things in miniature as opposed to,
smaller. Yeah.
yeah, and lots
So,
of them.
yeah. So this actually was a great final battle. You know, just the size alone of this
Hmm.
demon and to see him take out the planes and everything, like it's setting up for a great finale. Episode 9 did a good job.
Hmm. And then this is obviously we'll get the Mettle of Man, and yeah, it's go time. Like there's no if buts or maybe this is the battle. You know what I mean?
And it was cool to see Ash finally be afraid of something, because it would have been. I know we love to see his bravado in the face of like overwhelming odds, but this villain needed for a final battle. It
Mm,
needed to instill some fear in him, and it did. And
yeah,
I like that they left that in. Yeah,
yeah, just completely. What the? Why me? What the hell? I wasn't.
yeah.
I never signed up for any of this. What the? Just that complete meltdown was epic.
And I love his line to Brandy. He's like, normally, daughter, I want you to stand up and fight for what you believe in, but in this case, run.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was great.
Brandy adds to her kill count now. She's starting to like go at it with the Deadites. Like you can just see the confidence building. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I loved it when she stabbed that guy that was trying to push through the door.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
that was
that's
great.
she hasn't went girl, but you know what I mean? She's not it's building. Like you
Yeah,
could I could easily have seen her like once again when she appeared if she had appeared in one of these new movies, basically being um fully fledged form combat ready, like I'll use because she's following the same arc as Kelly, but it's more speed round because of circumstances. But
yeah,
you look at Kelly in season one compared to Kelly in season three, that's what you would get. You know what I mean? The fully formed team
yeah.
and her being part of it.
But I think the writers did a good job of differentiating between Kelly and Brandy.
Yes, yeah, they're two different
They're
characters.
both, yeah, yeah. They're both,
She's
young women in this.
well behind in her development.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's not easy to pull off because it can become easy enough to kind of follow form with the previous
mhm.
similar character, and they really have done a good job of separating the two and giving them their own space. And the actresses have a lot to do with that. They've really taken this role into themselves and did a great job with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and physicality as well. You can't say enough. Like
Mm,
that's something about green screens and that you see now. There's a loss of the physicality where these are taking place in streets. There's props. There's things about you have to be. It just adds to it where there's like a deadness, like a dead eyeness or something when you see like the big movies in front of green screens now. There's
right.
nothing there. This feels intense.
Yeah.
Like they're
Absolutely
using an
does.
alleyway. What I mean, they're using the physicality of an alleyway, etc. It's um they're there. Like you can trip over a box or anything, or 100 things go wrong, but you feel it. Like that lunge
Yeah.
was a desperate lunge. It wasn't a practiced. I'm now a
Mm.
sword fighter. It was a desperate lunge of stabbing. Like you believe it in the door. It's
100%. That's a great point. And also, what I enjoyed was the extras that were there. There was the guy in the wheelchair. There was
mhm,
another guy who was just hiding in the alley, like because there's supposed to be the entire town that's under attack.
yep.
It was great to feel that it wasn't just them versus creatures. Like it felt lived in the town,
Yes,
and all the background stuff that you saw throughout. I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
that's it. Just adds to the atmosphere and everything else, and you're
yeah,
invested. Once
it
again,
did.
a dopey comedy show.
Yeah, right.
That's more intensity than bloody what they're trying to do is a serious movie. It's like, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the God Elk Grove sheriffs are the best, are they?
They're not the brightest.
Or
Not the brightest star in the sky. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. But give that guy some credit. It's courage at least. If you're not going to have smarts, you can at least have courage. He was like, "Well, if you're not going to take him on," and then he just runs in the middle of the street.
yeah, but he wasn't. He wasn't going to fight the thing. He was going to go. Ash is here, and then he was
Oh,
going to
that's
tell on him.
true. Yeah, that's
He's a
true.
weasel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right,
To
minus
serve and
points.
protect. My arse. The car and run. That should be
Yeah,
there on the side of the cars. The car and run. Because fucking hell.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That's true. Yeah.
I'm telling mommy. Uh, I just so we'll have a really serious moment, like you said, Ash having that meltdown, just fuck what I don't know, overwhelmed, it all just coming
Yeah.
crashing at that point, and then Brandy giving him the pet talk, which is great.
I love that scene. Yeah. They had so like if you had done that earlier in the season, it wouldn't have landed, but it felt earned. It felt she had earned his respect and vice versa. So there was real weight to that conversation. It wasn't,
And it wasn't
forced or.
pick yourself up, old man, and do your thing. It's I believe in you. I
I
didn't.
believe.
And
Yeah.
she's had her two battles. You know what I mean? She had that one-on-one battle with the Kandarian demon and the Deadite in the tool shed. She had that battle. She then had this other battle. Dealing with us. She's earned that spot now of
Yeah.
I'm part of the team now. I didn't believe. I believe now. I believe in you. Blah blah blah. It was great.
Yeah, you really felt it the way the actress portrayed it when she says, "You made me believe in you, so do it." Like, oh my gosh, I was getting goosebumps. Yeah, just a great performance in that scene for both of them. Yeah,
Yeah, and then just to bring it down again in case it was getting too serious, we went to the emergency bog. Like, oh my god. Ariella O'Neill. What else has she done?
she looks familiar. I feel like I've seen her in other things, but
Ticket to Paradise, Predestination. I've heard of that one. No, I can't think what else she's in, but Ariella Carver O'Neill. She's an Australian actress. A lot of Australian.
wow, you did not hear that in the accent. Good for her.
Hookers and Blow. No, she hasn't really been in. The only one I'm thinking of is Predestination. I've heard of that one, but
I think I did see that one. That's probably where I know her
fuck,
from.
she was in
Yeah.
Neighbours. Fucking like every Australian actress. God, I don't know if he's ever got that over there.
No,
Neighbours and Home and Away, like the two main staples Australian soap operas.
I
Every
didn't.
Australian has to go through the process of being in either one of those two soap operas before they're allowed to act in anything else.
Gotcha.
It's almost government mandated.
I think I heard Chris Hemsworth had to do that, right?
Yeah, every Australian actor.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's almost government mandated or union mandated that you don't get to be an actor unless you go through those two shows. Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors. Just what's her face? Kylie Minogue came from that as well. That was where she was first known.
Okay.
And Jason Donovan. Sorry, I'm showing my age. Well, truly. But that's where they came from.
Gotcha.
Well, even sang, you know what I mean? Holly Valance. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Any of them. They have to be in that. They have to be in those two shows. It's
all right.
But yeah, she hasn't done much since. A few TV spots, which is once again fucking shame.
Yeah.
What a waste.
I mean, unless you want to give credit to the director, but there's only so much the director could do. These are great actors, great performances. The three of them, Pablo, Kelly, and Brandy. It's such a shame. Yeah. Their own spinoff would have been great. Yeah.
Carrying on the torch.
Yeah.
It'd have been. That's the thing about horror. If you are loved by the horror community as an actor or an actress, nobody gives a shit about you getting older or wrinklier or that. You know, like mainstream. If an actress, for example, stops being pretty, they get binned.
Yeah.
Horror doesn't give a shit about that.
That's cool.
You look at the convention circuit and all. Like horror fans will happily see somebody turn up. And I'll use an example: Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
The girl, I forget her name, the one that survived at the end of the first movie.
Yeah.
It was the first movie. The one that survived was brought back for the movie. The last one that they made.
Okay.
Everyone's like,
they didn't care.
Written terribly. fucking Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's overjoyed,
Yeah.
have Laurie Strode back. Doesn't matter what age she is, and they made her look rough. I mean, it's not like she came in looking all like they made her look rough in the movies.
Right.
Nobody cares about that. The superficiality, if that makes sense.
I
Nobody
like
gives
that
a shit
about
about
the horror industry. Yeah, that's cool.
Nobody gives a shit about that. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference between being an actor or a performer in the horror genre as opposed to the rest. Nobody cares about that superficiality because, yes, we all like a nice set of boobies. I mean, nobody's going to argue, but you have a longevity
Yeah.
that you don't have in other genres or mainstream. So these three could have been set in the horror genre. I'm looking
Yeah.
at what's happened since, and something's went wrong.
Yeah. It's a bad decision by
And
some.
I just can't help but think, what a shame.
I agree.
Dear. Yeah, I love the bog. Like, it just magically made out of two cans. Just why not? And even Brandy's going, give me a head of that. She's like, no, don't be me, sort of thing. Try and be better. Like, even that stupid comedy scene, it's the last of all time. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. That is the parent-child dynamic.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. I tell my son that all the time. And he's already past me in a lot of ways, so he doesn't have to worry. But yeah, there was some great scenes between the two of them, and knowing how it ends, I kind of wish there was a little bit more, but the scenes that they did have, Brandy and Ash did have together, were great. I would have liked maybe one more reference to the her great cooking skills with the Pop-Tarts. Maybe one more callback would have been good, but I'm nitpicking.
You mean like a toaster in the Delta?
Yes. Yeah, like, hey, Brandy, I had this installed for you, and it's just like a big toaster.
Brandy had it installed. We'll get that last scene, but just like with the Delta, that there's a toaster in it, saying it was all pimped out.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandy installed that for you. Pop.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Huh. Now I really want that to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know what I mean? That's time. I keep saying this. This is a time thing. It's just there's no time left. No, that's why we're dragging the arse out of this.
Review. You can tell we're sad.
Yeah, we're proper like dragging the arse because after that, this is it. This is the last episode, and we're done with Ash vs. Evil Dead and Evil Dead until Wrath comes out. Yeah, that's. Look at anything. Look at any review we've done of a long run series we've enjoyed. And it's always, I guess, the last episode we're going to drag it out because it's like, don't want to let it go yet. Except Sharknado, that could go fuck itself.
Well, I was just going to say.
Except for Sharknado, I was like, nah.
I think that's the one that followed the Tremors TV show. It's Sharknado, so that's part of it too. Where like in the back of my head, it's like,
what's next?
Really goes south after this.
Yeah. Final Destination review was the same when we did Bloodlines because that was the end of Tony Todd. It's like, oh fuck, yeah.
Great movie, yeah.
But yeah, this is what the plan is. Anyway, go to the hardware store, get Kelly out of the rift, bring her back, regroup. They'll go two different directions because Pablo. What is it? World War Z, where the zombies don't touch the infected person.
Oh right.
Predator, when he's covered in mud. You know, means that can't see him. They can't see Pablo, and Kelly's dead.
Yeah.
So he can go over the surface, but the other two can't. So they have to go through the tunnels.
Right. Yeah, that was cool. I like when they came out of the tunnel and they decided to leave it open. Did you think of that at the time? Like, can't we just close that thing?
That doesn't, why would you do that? That's sensible.
But that was a good battle scene though in the tunnel, because I actually felt it. Like there's something about the effect where it's dark and only you can only see where the flashlight is. There's been a couple of video games that have used that gaming mechanic where you have to hold the flashlight with one hand and you can shoot with the other.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, I think, is one of them. Space.
Not so much, but Doom. Doom does it. Resident Evil.
Yeah.
If you play point of view in Resident Evil, it's like that.
Okay. There was like a Dead in Space or something to the effect of that. Same thing where you just have to look at the flashlight.
It's not Dead Space. I know the one you mean.
Something like that, right?
Yep. Alien Isolation.
Okay. But it was
a gameplay of it on the channel. You know what I mean? That's
right. That's right. But yeah, so that was a cool moment. That they. And the two of them were equally battling too. That was another great thing. It wasn't like Ash was dominating and she was just kind of like meekly, taking out one or two. Like they were back to back. I like that.
But she's earned her place.
Earned it, yes.
She's earned her place to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen the progression. That's the point I keep trying to make. Why I hate the girl boss trope and why it's actually more sneering and condescending towards women. The girl boss is actually, you may as well have the film fuck. You may as well have the damsel in distress as having a girl boss. I think both are condescending.
Right.
Because they're completely stupid. Where we're seeing this character come in and earn her place up to fighting side by side with Ash.
Right.
And obviously Ash doesn't have his chainsaw anymore, so he's trying to his skills sort of keeping him going, but giving Brandy the Kandarian dagger so when she hits it counts. They've evened it out and they've made it make sense.
Yeah. And they're not giving her snarky lines. Like she's not, like being sarcastic because she's not afraid. Like that would have felt false. I know that, Ash does that sometimes. But Ash didn't do that in the beginning because
he doesn't have his chainsaw.
Too. Yeah.
He doesn't have his chainsaw on this, so even then he's not. They realize they have to run. They're not like just wiping them all out.
Right.
They're at a disadvantage and have a mission. So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great scene. Yeah.
But even the bit in the tunnel, Ash jumping through that tunnel, like hooking himself up, like I'd have broken, like I'd have landed the other side, and you'd have to like pick me up afterwards. My knees are gone. I have enough trouble kneeling down at the moment. If I'm upright, I can stick anything on my back. I can carry anything. I can go, right? If I have to bend down to my knees, like I'm needing help to get back up because my knees are shot.
Yeah.
Like, and doing that, I don't know if that was him or a stunt double, but just that swinging alone through the tunnel, like,
yeah,
I felt that. I'm like, bloody hell, dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's in his 50s when he did that.
Yeah. And I know some of it is stunt work, but it's actually really seamless. It's actually really good. Yeah.
But then you see him getting up, because we've all been there, like him getting up from the chair after the speech.
Yeah.
But that is anybody knows what it's like getting older, you get that. You have these bursts of, like, you've muscle memory. And if you're used to doing stuff and that, you do it, but you fucking pay. Like, you can do that burst of energy for like a minute or something, or a few minutes, and then after you're paying the price because your body goes, 100%. What do you think you're doing still?
Yeah. I go through that quite a bit.
Yeah, you try to do young man stuff, but it's like, nope.
Yeah.
You do it just to prove a point. Like, oh fuck, when you're hanging around kids who are being useless, you know what I mean? Especially this generation that don't have any physicality about them, because all they do is swipe, right? And you just go to prove a point, and then you're crippled afterwards, going, ah. But for that moment, you're like leading from the front.
Yeah. It's true.
Fun times. But yeah, we'll get Kelly back, and it's not like she's been away because she hasn't. I mean, the actress has been there.
Right, right, right,
So
right.
it doesn't feel like she's been shoved to the side because she hasn't.
Yeah,
But I love the way that the switch of her back on what the hell's happened. You know what I mean? What the hell's happened to me?
yeah. And I like that they played along with the story beat where because she came back from the dead, she's like pale. She needs to be, carried in the beginning. She's limping. Like, yeah, that makes sense. The body would have been through a very traumatic experience. The
Mhm.
organs would have started to shut down, and even though she comes back, like
It's not
I like that
instant.
it's not instant. Yeah, and I like that only Ash it was instant because he's used
He's
to
done it loads of times.
it,
But
which is
that's a
fun.
joke, man. It don't get hangovers
Yeah.
either. Like he's decades ahead of these guys. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah,
their like even if you think Kelly and Pablo, they're still good. This is their first rodeo.
right.
It's just gone on for a while. You know what I mean? He's done this.
Exactly.
Ad nauseum, time travel, you name it. I guess is
Just
that's the confidence of being through the ringer, yeah.
A regular Tuesday for him.
But then we've also had the payoff of that. That's why he pushes people away. That's why he is obnoxious because he doesn't want to get close because he's seen too many people die.
Yeah,
Do you
almost
know what I
that
mean?
before this last season, almost everyone he's ever known
Mm-hmm.
has been killed by this thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. And they go in and it's the transition's cool because we know the National Guard's being called. The governor's called a state of emergency. Um, but yeah, they step outside and there's proper full time like um gunships, tanks, and evacuation going on.
I I absolutely loved it. So I have my best friend who I watch movies with once in a while makes fun of me because I get excited when I see like an appropriate response to one of these like world-ending crisis, whether it's a superhero movie or sci-fi or something like that. When you see like a lot of like the army show up and get their ass kicked like that, I just enjoy that because so many movies nowadays, because of budgets, like this is not Ben-Hur where they
Mm-hmm.
could have a million extras. They tend to keep everything very small. Very, it's very popular now to use, what do they call that? Where you're in like a virtual reality sound studio that you're filming.
Oh, the back screen. I know what you mean. That's it's not even green
Yeah,
screen anymore. Like they fill out the back, and it's like a
yeah,
projector.
exactly. There's like a
They did
name
it for
for the
June.
volume. The volume.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call it the volume. So where they shoot in something like that. So when you actually have army people, you had an actual tank that they rented. I guess like the streets have an actual working tank. It looks like it just felt very big. You had
Mm-hmm.
planes shooting at this thing. I loved all of it. I thought it really added to the excitement of a finale. It was first TV show budget. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was great.
Yeah, and that's and also just because technology, it's the science versus magic thing, and it's once again it's a hard one to pull off. But yeah, you can have all the weapons of the day and that, but at the end of the day, all you have to do is get one soldier, and you saw that he get taken over by a deadite, and then just, that's
He
it.
took, yeah, and I love Kelly runs in and takes him down. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's her power is she tunes into that anger. But the problem with the anger is that she can't. They've actually built a weakness into it. It's like berserker rage. So for her to be effective, she has to tune into this sort of berserker rage, but then she can't
yeah,
come out of it. So she has to like get, wake up, come back to this sort of thing.
yeah. Oh, before we get too far, I did enjoy when she comes back to the dead, the kiss her and Pablo have, because that was cool. Because knowing that it's a finale, that we're not going to see these characters again, like that's the wish fulfillment that we wanted
Hmm.
for Pablo from the very first episode. He got it,
Yep.
So
But
that
then
was cool to
with
see.
the joke of what the hell's happened to me sort of thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
No, but that's it. You just got this full scale battle and that, and then they're trying to, evacuate. And then this is the moment Ash realizes that this is his destiny. He can't run away.
Yeah. I wanted to get your take on this because he tells Brandy that he'll never leave her. It literally says that to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the span of essentially a half hour, he makes this decision. And I know why he's doing it. And he literally says, I'm doing this for you so that you'll have a better world, or a actual world to live in. But I was more disappointed that he made that promise at the time, because it seemed, even in the moment, it seemed like it's a tough promise to make. It's almost like telling a kid, like, I'll always be there for you, I'll never leave you. And the sad reality is that's a promise you can't keep, because we're all going to die
mortal,
at some point. Yeah, none of us are getting out of here alive, I like to say. So it's a tough thing to promise, especially in this time frame of a half hour, to then break that promise. And I know he did it for the right reasons, but I felt really bad for Brandy in that moment, because it was the broken promise on top of the pending loss. And she's lost everything. She's lost her mom. Her entire world has gone upside down. And to see him send her away, in the truck, I was very emotional for a silly.
But is that not the whole point?
I know.
Is it? This has legs. It has emotional depth. So we've had this build up, and what was it? The bit in the cellar, like the high five, and the come off with both cheesy comments. And Pablo's like, "Yeah, there's two of them now."
Yeah.
This is how you do passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? This is how you do it.
Right.
And then that moment, you see him just, and we've all had epiphanies in our lives. You know what I mean? That he is the chosen one. He's fought against it for so long, but at that moment, and seeing the military and all, just everyone's helpless. It's all over the world. No one's helpless. There's only one thing. And the fact that this demon has not been put out to destroy the world, the Dark Ones put it out as a test. Did you pick up on that?
No, I didn't.
That's the whole point of this is the test, the Mettle of Man. That's
Pablo
the whole
does
point
say
of the
that.
episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pablo says
he
it in
translates,
the episode.
when they're speaking in their language,
right.
Sumerian, but that's what they're saying. This is your test to see whether you're worthy. The Dark Ones aren't even evil, like, when you think about it. They're like, you're being tested now, humanity, to see if you step up. Like, they're actually, a level above the whims of Ruby and Baal and the Deadites in general, and the Necronomicon. Necronomicon's just a tool.
Interesting.
A sentient tool, but it's still just a tool. They're nothing. These are the ultimate, and at the end of the day, they don't need to rule humanity or destroy it. They just, they're above that. So they're like, here's your test.
Right.
Pass or fail it. We don't care. You know what I mean? It's up to you. If you pass it, you carry on. If not, you fail. That's essentially their sort of ambivalence towards the human race.
Yeah.
At that moment, you got that built up, that Ash realizes this is his moment. He has to do it. Nobody else can. He's the one that's been chosen. He's literally written into the pages of the book.
Right. Yeah.
It can't be anybody else. And if he runs, it's...
Yeah. I like that. I like the way you're putting it. It definitely gives it a different context than I think I appreciated in the moment. And that's part of why these reviews are great, because there are things that you pick up on that I didn't fully appreciate in the moment.
Just the way I've seen it. I mean, this is the hero's journey, if you think about it in storytelling.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Accepting of the destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that we've had time, because let's be honest, if they hadn't spent time building the relationship, including the antagonism, the disbelief, and that, what do you mean, Ashley/he's my father, to Daddy, right?
Yeah.
They've only had one season, but they did it so well building up that relationship. so we get the payoff at the end. If that had been done badly,
Mm,
and look at, like I said, look at stuff to pump out now. It's done so haphazardly and badly. You have no emotional payoff. Hence, why the rejection of so many properties now.
yeah,
But because nobody understands emotional connection. Like, I think the people that write stuff now are so insulated. You know what I mean? Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are from a generation. You know what I mean? They understand it.
yeah,
So there's still that residue there of writing, and even though they didn't direct all the episodes, they're still the showrunners. There's that understanding there. Look at people creating stuff now. They don't, because they live in. It's the absence of carnality. You know what I mean? We're carnal beings. We're flesh and
mm,
blood. We think, we feel, but that's been replaced with digital stimulus. Also, the people that are in there are in the entertainment industry now are second or third generation placed there through nepotism,
right,
and don't really, they live insulated lives, so they can't talk about human experiences because they don't have any.
yeah. Yeah,
Everything they
watch
do
that.
is muted or padded or decent. You know what I mean? They haven't had a job. Think about old school actors having to go up and work tables and scrape for bit parts here and there and everywhere. That
Yeah,
you barely hear that now because they're all just set into place. Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
So they can't. You can't, if unless you have that experience, you can't translate it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Life is the struggle. I don't say you have to live misery and poverty, etc., but life is struggle, and anything earned worth having is earned, not just given to you. If you, in fact, you will see it all over. People that just have things handed to them don't appreciate it.
right. Yeah,
So
and that's why that scene absolutely landed for me for all the reasons that you said. Even if it didn't grasp all of the nuances that you're describing, I just emotionally felt it when he's saying goodbye to his friends, and especially his daughter and the truck is moving away. It was just a great way to treat the character in this series finale. You
it's an
know, he gave him
interesting,
the proper credit.
but it's an interesting tactical choice that apparently you can't open the APC doors from inside.
Yeah,
That's kind of important. I don't know. When I was jumping about, like, you had to open the door from inside. How else do you get out to get on the ground? So somebody has to come around the side and open it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
They're
sort of looking
banging
at
at the
that.
door. No, if
Yeah,
only there was a way.
contact,
Open it.
contact. Wait, I have to get the commander. The commander gets taken out. That's all you have to do is shoot the commander. They can't open the door, so the troops can't get out of the tank.
Right, right,
Not
right.
a good design.
No, I could. That's a safety feature. That's a safety problem. We're gonna have some liability.
Oh, freaking hell! Yeah. I was just sort of wondering that because there's no, like, if he had tied it up with something, but he just went clunk, and apparently that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
Child locks on the fucking tank. But apart from that, really emotional scene. And maybe
Yes.
people didn't pick up on that. Maybe I was just me being a nerd.
But it set up a really good battle with this giant creature.
Yep. Yeah, so everyone else basically scarpers. Ash is on his own. And just happened to be a tank lying around, which was cool. Didn't even know what type of tank that was. That looked like something from World War II.
I did look a little on the older side, but he got
Yeah.
so excited by it. That was great. Like even in
Who
this
doesn't
moment,
get excited by a tank?
absolutely.
I've only ever driven baby tanks, not proper ones, you know what I mean? And yeah, they're still like, whoa, this is cool. But oh
And
my,
I
even
love the battle, and I love the final button. He really exaggerates the push.
yeah. Well, it's if you've never driven a tank before, and don't forget these are 3-man crews. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
So there's obviously the driver, gunner, and commander. That's 3-man crew in a tank.
Right.
This is T-55, which I think it is 3-man, even the T-55s back in the day. That fun fact, actually, the Russians, the people who drove the tanks built the tank. So they actually worked, the 3-man crew was in the factory working on the tank and building it, and then they drove it off the assembly line in the war.
Oh wow!
The thinking being that basically because they built it from scratch and were part of the assembly, they knew every part of it, so they could do field repairs.
Huh.
So that was more valuable than combat experience. They're just rolling these things off, but that was the crew. You built your tank, then you jumped into it and you crewed it. Because
is that the best way to do it though? What if you get really good at building it, and now you're off and to get killed, and then the next person who goes to build their tank, but it's not so good at building it.
But that was,
No, I do like the principle behind it though. Yeah,
that was the thought when you're rolling things off the assembly floor and straight out into the. It's basically equivalent. Have you watched Stalingrad?
I don't think I did.
They explained it perfectly. Man number 1 carries a rifle. Man number 2 carries a magazine. When man number 1 dies, man number 2 picks up rifle. That was how brutal it was. You're expected just to charge, die, and if you didn't, you had the machine guns at the back. But then that was the whole thing of you can't keep fighting a war like this. You need heroes. That's why you need heroes. That's why you need inspiration. It's that whole philosophy. It's a really good movie.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. What's his face? Jude Law. Ed Harris. Whole bunch of people. Yeah. There's Bob Hoskins. Oh my god, he's great in that.
Wow.
But it's it's a siege of Stalingrad. It's but it explains why you can't just. It's funny enough, in war, it's the same thing, and with army stuff, you can't just tell people go and do it. It has to be something more. You have to inspire people.
Yes.
What makes somebody make that charge? It's not money. It's not. This is your job.
Well, that's why in colonial times you had the flag bearers, or even older times you had the flag bearers because.
Well, color party, color. That's why you had the rank of color sergeant.
Right.
And to lose the king's colors was to lose the king's favor. It was a regiment. Your regiment was dead if you lost the colors. Fuck, your regiment was dead.
Because if you're AI, right, and you're like, well, that's one less or a few less people that have weapons, so doesn't make sense. But if you actually know humanity, you know that person is more valuable than 100 guns because you need the flag to inspire people as to what they're fighting for, and that morale boost.
Hence why Skynet went after John Connor.
Right. Exactly.
Because it twigged on, oh, right, this is really important. It's more than just numbers and strength. We got beat because of a hero. And this translates into this, you know what I mean? If there wasn't the emotional payback, if there wasn't the time spent to get you to like these characters, for the characters to earn their place.
Yeah.
That scene, as they're all bundled into the back, would have had no impact whatsoever.
Right.
I would just felt like, and that's what we're seeing now because of the absence of this. We're seeing so many movies now, so many properties, just there's nothing. There's no emotional payback. There's no longevity because you've no reason to care.
Right.
And then you've got, even worse, you've got this nastiness that's been interjected into entertainment, this hatred, especially towards the fandom. I will not carry out fan service. That's your customer base. This absolute shite that's come in, which is now starting to, it's like the horror genre starting to go through a bit of this now because everything else is laying in smoke and ruins and the only thing left is horror. So now that they're starting to bring all this crap here and you're just looking going, have we learned nothing?
It's true. Yeah.
Here's an example of, this isn't even, it's not even 10 years old yet. It's getting there, but it's not even 10 years old, and it shows that they're still able to do it. It's a recent enough show,
right,
that they're able to demonstrate how characterization and how story matters for you to have that emotional payoff.
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, we're still talking about it, and people still talk about this.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Ash is trying to figure out the tank, and the fact that he didn't just jump in immediately, that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell does this all work? But yeah, they swap it out the flipping round the missile to put the dagger in the end.
That was actually a great idea. Like Ash, is considered an idiot, and more times than not, it's justified. But over the course of the show, he's actually had some really good ideas.
But in the battle, the time he comes alive is when he battles the Deadites. We even
Yeah,
got that from the first episode. If you think
yeah,
about the first episode, like the very, very first episode of season 1, he's an idiot. He's written off. The minute a Deadite appears, switch,
yeah.
and he
He was
becomes this is when he's
Ash
alive.
Slashy. Yeah,
This is it. Another example in comic book stuff, Spider-Man. You think about Spider-Man is on point all the time and actually has enough time to quip and make jokes and that, and he's like powerful. But Peter Parker is an absolute disaster.
right.
If you've ever read the comics, in that there, like
Oh,
Peter
it's my
Parker.
favorite. Spider-Man was my favorite comic book. Yeah,
Peter Parker is a mess.
yeah,
He can do nothing. Like he messes everything up, but the only time he gets alive is when he puts that mask on and becomes Spider-Man. This is the same with Ash Williams. When he puts that chains, when it's actually down to the battle, the part of him activates, comes alive.
yeah. He was born for this. This is his destiny. This is his fulfilling his purpose. Yeah, it's true.
And
But I love that dichotomy. Yeah,
you have an entire military falling to bits, and he's like, "Oh wait, hang on, this thing kills it." Right, ready to go.
right.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So that's the thing. He just even then the thing picks him up, and he's just like, "Yep, boom, straight to the face." Like as he's
it was great. It was a great final battle. They had a lot to live up to after 3 seasons. How are they going to make it interesting as a final battle? And it was great. I like his failure in the tank, not being able to get it to work. That just led to the feeling of accomplishment when he finally takes the thing down.
the payoff.
Then it falls on top of him, and he's trapped, and the nuke is coming. So it was even that had a lot of tension. What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. And then that's obviously about he's out for the count, and of course then we see the ring as he's getting rescued.
Did he get rescued? So they want you to think that he got rescued. But as I am watching that flashback of him getting dragged away, buddy, it got me thinking.
Did you do the thinking thing?
I did the thinking thing.
You waited to the season finale to start doing that thinking stuff?
And the stupid face thing.
It's the pain, isn't it? I guess we know what we need to do now.
One final time.
Yep,
sir.
for Ash. Yep. Let's do it.
It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory. Chris. Chris's crazy theory.
Okay. Let's hear what you've got.
Yeah. I'd love for this to have a happy ending, but brace yourself, people, because I think the truth is going to hurt on this one.
Oh dear.
But I
even
don't
more truthful than the actual shenanigans that went on behind the show.
No, not as bad as that, but a little less bad than that. That's over here. This is over here. But I don't quite know if our buddy Ash did make it. And I have some evidence to show you. Okay. So to catch the audience up, this is the finale, the Mettle of a Man, season 3, episode 10, the finale of Ash versus the Evil Dead. And right before Ash goes to fight the evil Kandar demon, the army is talking about in slide 1 how they're about to send a nuke, right? There was no, well, we'll give you a few minutes to see if you can take down the demon. Like, for all they know, they don't even notice that Ash goes back. They've left the field of battle. They're traveling as far away as they can to avoid the nuke. So they have absolutely no idea.
Isn't it handy that they did all those tests post World War II and all those sailors sailed close to the nuke so they knew exactly the distance to travel away?
Very handy.
It was great that they did that, wasn't it? That was
Yes.
They were full shiploads of crew
Yes.
all those years ago. This is why they did it for this moment, so
Yeah.
they knew exactly how far to drive before it dropped.
Exactly. And there was no refrigerators for Harrison Ford to.
I was gonna use that. Fuck you! I was gonna use that. I was holding on. Damn it!
Great minds think alike. But yeah, so they're about to nuke it, and
Is this your whole theory? Because there was no all the refrigerators are busted. Is that it? Have I just ruined the whole theory?
No. But it's true. So, we see Ash. He's obviously in this battle. Oh boy. And after, this is a little hard to see from this, but after he shoots the Kandar demon and takes him down, it falls on top of him, trapping him. And the nuke is going to go off imminently. So the next thing we see, it's foggy, and we hear, through the caption, distant roars, right? That means distant roars is related to the nukes that are about to go. So I'm thinking at this point, Ash is done for. But we get a scene of him being dragged away. You can't get dragged away far enough to evade the blast radius of a nuclear weapon. And then we get an image of this guy. And then they put tape on him. Now, I don't know about you.
Was that tape or gauze?
Some sort of
gauze.
Yeah, it could have been, but it was very, very, very adhesive, very stretchy, and they were putting it over his face. That's not the kind of thing you do if someone had been injured. It was confusing me as to why they would go to that extreme. But we see the KOS, so we know that he's in good shape because his buddies, the Knights of Samaria, are here to rescue him.
KOS.
Or did they?
Always got to do that.
And then we see them putting him in this box, which, by the way, not a thing to do if you're trying to heal somebody. You don't put them in a box. And then flash forward, we see him coming out of this box, and he's looking at his hand. He looks a little bit different. He sees that his hand has been recreated like almost like a clone or whatever, where his hand is now artificial. He goes, "Hello." And the box itself, was very interesting. This is not a hospital. This is not something where it looks like he could be cryogenically frozen, which is what they want you to think. It didn't have the look of that. This is just a warehouse.
Oh, so because it doesn't look the part,
Yeah, I mean, there would be. What I'm saying is that there would be a lot more medical equipment than this vacuum. If you're trying to cryogenically unfreeze someone,
you do know that the show's probably spent the entire budget at this point on that.
I don't want to hear about show. This is real life to me. Crazy head. This is all
brought out a budget at this point. That's all they've got left.
I don't want to hear about your budget or your show. I'm talking real life. So if he was cryogenically unfrozen, which is what they kind of are alluding is what happened, it wouldn't have explained the way those people were able to drag him miles away from the blast radius in time. And it also wouldn't explain why essentially a vacuum cleaner is what's keeping him, alive. Also, note the computer readout because we get a close-up of that later.
So you haven't watched the YouTube videos where they show you how to build one of these? Like, look up YouTube and it will show you.
No, I didn't see that yet. Maybe that'll blow up my theory. But keep in mind, we're going to come back to this readout in a little bit. So he goes, it's all gone. And now with the close up where we start to get to look at him, he looks a little bit different, right? He looks a little bit older. The hair doesn't quite match up. Why is it gray on this side? It almost was like someone was trying to create another version of Ash and didn't quite get it right. And I have some more evidence for this outrageous theory. So, they give us evidence that in this future, they have the ability to at least create partial humans, right? Because we have, fake arms, fake, stomachs, fake, So obviously the technology is there to somehow replicate part of a human being, if not the whole human being. And I say they're able to recreate the whole human being. She says the savior is awake. So we start to get the idea that he's so revered that it's almost like they couldn't deal with the death of Ash Williams. And that in this future society, they had to find a way, like we talked about with the flag and the symbol, they had to find a way of recreating that for whatever conflict is going on in the future. And we see, the devastation of the world. And we get another clue where she says the Dark Ones are on the move. So now we're starting to get into motive. Why would they try to recreate Ash Williams? Because they need a symbol of hope, a symbol of optimism. All right. And we've seen they have the ability to create humans. They go out of their way to make him, feel like he's, special, and to give him everything that he had. The Hail to the King, the way the classic is.
They obviously ran out of space for baby. That's true.
That's true. That's a good point.
Or it's on the side. It's right on the side. They forgot to include that bit.
Yeah, it's on the left side. But they're definitely going out of the way to make him feel special, So I did some research, because if I'm onto something, and if this is not the original Ash Williams, I needed to find out what goes into making a human clone. It's not just the physical attributes, because if you create a person and they don't have any of the memories is what makes us who we are, right? Otherwise, you just have an automaton who doesn't know what they're doing. So Ash Williams is
today.
Yeah, there you go. So, but if that was the case, and if I'm onto something, wouldn't they have to have given some indication of them implanting some memories back into Ash? And did we get anything like that? And the answer is, as I cut you off without letting you answer, what do you think? Did we have any answers to that?
Well, we had enough time. It was just a brief, it's like me when I get out of bed in the mornings. It takes me an hour or two to remember anything.
Right.
Like I get up and and then gradually.
Like Frankenstein?
Yeah, basically that is me. I do need shockful. I need to be shocked about it because that's
the memories get shocked into you. Electroshock therapy.
It takes me about 11 o'clock to actually be a functioning human being of sorts. Everything else is on autopilot.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. But they did, in fact, give an indication that this is what's happening. We've seen this in other sci-fi horror movies. Resident Evil, they implanted memories into the main character, obviously the protagonist. Everyone knows her name, Alice. So I don't have to say it. Alice, exactly. You're always there for me, buddy. I appreciate you. So yeah, we've seen this happen before, but did they give an indication that was happening here?
That's why we always pause this scene, because that's so important. That's such a poignant moment.
Yes,
why that scene is so important in movie making, because
I created this
philosophical level. We'll have to always go back to it.
I created this entire theory just so I could zoom in for you, buddy.
Thank you. Yes. That's, like I said, just to get this appreciation of the importance.
But yes, look at this. Look at this. If he was just cryogenically frozen, why would there have to be these things attached to his head? It's because they're implanting memories into him. And I have more evidence, because I could see some doubt. I think you're thinking that this is the original Ash still. And I'm
just why if they're not in his neck.
Why are they not in his... Oh, because that's how you do it.
No, Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on, you watch Monster Squad with us. Come on.
That's right. Wolfman's got nards. But no, they're implanting the memories directly into his cranium. That's why it has to be up there. So I told you this is the readout that was on the database right next to the orange box or whatever, right? So I tried to look at this and I tried to break it down. I ran it through several algorithms. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this.
So what
This
language is that?
It's binary. It's typical, Commodore 64, binary code. But it's interesting. You look at some of the wording, read response. All right, D word, buffered, byte, response. This is interesting. 8192 plus 1. Why would you have a number? It's the only number that appears in this whole thing besides 00. 8192. I'm thinking that this is related to the number of attempts, the number of humans that they've actually tried to make versions of Ash Williams. I ran it through an algorithm, and this is what my computer came up with. Clone status online, subject Ash Williams, the 892nd. This clone of Ash Williams is now online. I think that's what all this gobbledygook was referring to. And that's why my theory is, hello, Mr. Fancy Jeans. Ash Williams in the future is a clone. Groovy, baby. Groovy.
There you
He did
go.
make it. The nuke took him out, but fortunately, the future will have their Ash Williams one way or another.
Somehow managed to upload his memories. Like
Yeah.
he didn't. He went to sperm banks, not memory banks.
The future could do anything, and they wanted their Ash Williams. And God bless them.
There you go, folks.
It's a theory. It's a Chris. It's a theory. Chris's crazy theory.
We're back. Yeah. I was waiting to do the fridge joke.
Sorry, buddy.
You stole it from me.
Yeah.
That's the only way as we know, Indiana Jones has taught us that the only way to survive a nuclear fallout is to have a refrigerator. And it has to be like one of the old boxy 1950s ones. Because that's why they built them that way. Many nuclear shelters.
That's right. All that movie was missing is him chewing on some old cheese in the fridge while the nuclear bomb is going off.
Yeah. Oh, was it chest fridge or was it? I can't remember now. Fucking that movie was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why? And then they did another one.
Yeah, they did. They did. It had its moments. The new
there
one.
was a line somebody said in an interview, he can stand up on his own without assistance.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, so he's not pissed and shitting himself. That's okay. Get him in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
like there was some line like that he could stand up without having to walk in it or something. That
right.
Like Harrison Ford, the actor, because he's in his 80s now.
Yeah.
When he did that, it's like, oh my god, just like
Yeah.
And that's where I covered a recent article. Bruce Campbell talking about this. He's like, stay in the ranch, man. Stay in the ranch. Like even at this, he's making the joke about being older. It's.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that article on your channel, and I kind of disagree with him. He was making the point that people don't want to see someone who was so vibrant and in their youth like be old and decrepit in these movies, and because he felt that way when he was watching someone. He didn't say who, but he said he felt that way when watching an actor, so he doesn't want to be that. But to me, he is so beloved, Bruce Campbell. I personally would not mind seeing an older version of him, much in the same way that Lee Majors, I loved Lee Majors in this. It was a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put him in that type of role, I personally wouldn't mind, but that's what Bruce Campbell felt. He didn't want to be, showing up.
I think he's an all-in. Basically, if he's going to do this, he's going to want to do the action scenes as well, and not be. What's the point otherwise?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I just think there's more to it. I think just with everything going on in the direction of travel, Like he was happy to do voice cameos, etc. You know, what I mean, he could happy to be there, but step back completely. Cancer diagnosis aside, there's already something happening.
Yeah.
So that's that's just the way of it. But everyone makes their choice. You know what I mean? I don't believe either that you beat an act. You know, if somebody's given performance, you don't just keep dragging them out and beating them to death, which is another thing people want. They'll use somebody up until they're no more. Look at fighters.
Yeah.
Still drag Mike Tyson out. You know what I mean? People will do it until he actually literally dies on the ring. People will try and drag him out 10 years from now. They did it with George Foreman. Kept trying to bring him back and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not even the actual fight; it's the preparation. You know, there's talk about that other shitty franchise. There's rumors that might have been what happened to Carrie Fisher. Was the expectation to get fit again? You know, and all of a sudden go through this rapid, physical transformation led to heart problems at an age. You know, that is a thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, let's go for a 10-mile run now and see how we get on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That'll be pretty. That will be horror.
No.
We'll live stream. We'll think, die.
Here's the part where Chris passed out and threw up on himself. Yeah. We'll make that a short.
You know what I mean? There's a reality about your physicality as you get older, and especially if you've been active.
Yeah.
There's that sort of thing of, oh shit, can't do this anymore. It's, your brain tells you one thing and then the body just reminds you that no.
Yeah. And he's earned the right to do whatever he wants. I just selfishly, I just really enjoy seeing him. And
oh yeah, without a doubt. But
yeah,
I think I'm more pragmatic. As in, I'd rather somebody leaving a high and be remembered for the good times. Now,
yeah,
I would have liked the cameos or what to have carried on. But like I said, this change in direction, if even he's stepping aside, they're the bigger story there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not being told because of friendship. Like if it wasn't Sam Raimi, I think that if Sam Raimi wasn't still at the helm, taking these new directors under his wing,
yeah,
I think would get more of I'd be less polite about the direction of Evil Dead.
I think you're right.
That's what I'm thinking of there. But it was interesting because it was Lee Cronin said that off the back of this series, the Ash cameo is time displaced. He's actually reaching back in time because this is obviously transfers in that it's the far future or how
right.
Far, right? No, but far enough.
Right.
10 to 20 years. That he's basically got like a Mad Max sort of scenario.
I mean, it seems like it would be further in the future because, like, just seeing cybernetic people, like, that seems like a little advanced for 10 years from now.
Look at Mother's necessities of Mother invention. Look at the pace now we're doing.
Right.
We've kind of come to a stand. Sorry, look at the pace from the early 90s to like 2010. We've kind of had we're in this holding pattern at the moment.
So you're saying if we were at war with an army of demons, that we would,
I would say,
ramp up the.
Look at the Second World War, First World War, Second World War conflict since. Look at drone technology currently now.
That's a good point. I can't dispute that. That's a good point.
There's an urgency. It's not that war's a good thing. It's a natural thing, unfortunately, as humans. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But there's an urgency because it's life and death. There's, getting that edge. There's something that you can't replicate. That's why periods of peace tend to fall into apathy.
Right.
And it's just who we are as humans. I'm, sorry if that upsets anybody, but that's the reality. We will always, as long as we're human, we'll always be at war.
Yeah.
That's just, it'll be one thing or another. It's just the nature of things, but through that, even medical technology, you need, like the quick clot stuff was developed during the Vietnam War, and it then gets translated over to traffic accidents and disasters, etc., where people are getting saved with they wouldn't have before. It's that urgency on the battlefield that
I can see
promotes
that. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Look at that. That plaster of Paris stuff, the instant stuff for like an instant cast, that was developed in the battlefield. Super glue was developed during First World War for stitching wounds. You know, it's
Yeah.
so I could 100% believe 10 years of war at a certain intensity. Why not? We're practically there anyway. You think of prosthetics. Look at the prosthetic thing. In fact, that Iraq. I went. There's a place over here called Headley Court, which is a military hospital, and you look at the level of care with prosthetics. You know, amputees, etc., and like the quality of life people can get now. When you think of leaving 20 years previous, peg legs, people are still going around in peg legs. Wooden, stiff wooden. Now they're almost indiscernible.
Right. Yeah.
And it's still getting better. They're now using mobile technology.
Yeah, the
So
advances.
touch screen, they're actually because they realize that you've still got the muscles. You can still send the signals, even on the stump if you preserve it right, and it can still work with mobile technology to actually give movement. Like there's shit now being
that's pretty cool.
Made, and that's off the back of war.
Yeah, true.
And then it's starting to like transition into civilian life. That it's amazing. It's out of tragedy, there's always tragedy is part of life. Death is part of life. It's taking that and making the best out of it. I mean, that's how we evolve. That's how we move forward. Even in your own personal life, something bad happens, learn from it. Don't let it destroy you.
Yeah.
I mean, as shitty whatever it is might be, and we've all had crap go in our lives. You don't let it break you. You learn from it and you try to be better for it.
Yeah.
And even this story, if you think about it, Ash Williams is a person born of tragedy. He only went away for a weekend with his friends before they went to college.
Yeah.
Before they moved on. You know what I mean? That was only meant to be just the last hurrah. They're all in relationships. They were just, spend a weekend away. That was it.
Was he predestined to find it though? Because he was in the book.
But the Ash we see now is like a person born of absolute tragedy. He used it to fight evil, and that's why you have somebody cutting about like borderline 60, still like absolutely smashed it, and why an entire military couldn't take down Kandar himself. It had to be Ash.
Yeah. What would you say to someone?
This is why I love stories. Do you know what I'm saying? This is why I
Yeah.
love storytelling. This is why we need storytelling as humans. This is what picks us up from the drudgery. Life is drudgery.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who, as we kind of ramp up, because sadly the series has come to an end. What would you say to someone who watched this when it first came out? They saw about 4 or 5 episodes in the first season. They didn't come back to it in the second season. They heard the third season was a mess, and they decided not to revisit it. What would you say to this person who may be watching this?
I would say revisit it, but don't binge it. 2 to 3 episodes at a time. Give yourself a day or two to take it in. Do it at a pace. Like we've done 2 episodes at a time for the purpose of having a conversation. But if you're watching this casually, 3 episodes at a time, I would say it'd be fine. But give yourself a day or two between that to let the storyline sink in before you watch the next 3 episodes, and just take your time with it.
That's a great point. I would add to that it seemed to be in 2 episode arcs. I think the 2 episode thing really worked out well. A lot of the stories seem to.
Yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
it's meant to be 1 episode, but they've split it into 2 with a
Right. So that would be
So-
my advice, would be to watch it 2 episodes at a time. But I think that's a great point. Give yourself some space, because if you binge it, then it kind of the nuances.
I've watched this at
more-
least 3 or 4 times, and I've not picked up. I've picked up more by doing this review
Yeah.
than I have
Yeah.
watching. You know what I mean? There's even bits I've forgotten. You know,
Yeah.
'cause if you're binging it, you're getting information dump.
Right.
Yep.
It's coming too quick at you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed this, man. Thank you so much for
No, thanks for
setting this up, because I didn't see it. I didn't see it when it came out, and I wouldn't have seen it without the show. So, and I'm glad I did. Yeah.
this.
it's great.
In my opinion, adds so much to the movies.
Yes. It does.
Gives it that depth that the movies maybe didn't get to explore, because you don't in a movie. A movie is a snapshot in a universe. You build a universe, but a movie is a snapshot, a person's tale in a universe, where a series has an opportunity to delve more into it.
Right.
When it's done right. I'm looking at you, Resident Evil. Oh god, that was, I couldn't even get past the first episode of that. You just knew exactly where it was going, and apparently, according to reviews, it was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an example of being done right and adding to the lore, not taken away. I do believe the opportunity was wasted after this finished.
Yeah.
Maybe they were all burned out with the shit that goes on in the background. Which sometimes with doing this, everyone thinks this is all happy and jolly in front of the camera, but it's all the stuff we have to do in the background.
Mhm.
And dealing with stuff, and sometimes that can lead to burnout too. You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's just the way of it. So I can understand on a much, much, much smaller scale. I can get maybe why they want it to be done. Just right step away.
Maybe. But I'm really glad that they made it, and I'm really glad that they came back for the 3rd season. As much shit as people give the 3rd season, it definitely added to my enjoyment of the show. There were some, otherwise we never would have had Brandy. We never would have had. I think one of the funniest parts of the entire show was when he tried to bring Brandy back to life, and he forgot to check the body bag. There were some great beats throughout the whole season. So I'm absolutely thrilled that they came back for a 3rd season, and the show overall. I'm glad that the Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell did this,
Yep.
and the whole cast.
Niven Raimi as well. He's heavily involved in this.
Right.
Actually, all the Raimis, Ted was involved in this too. It was like getting the whole Xena gang back together.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, just think this was worth. It was worth doing. It was worth having out there.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that we've done this review, that I've got to go back and take time over it and understand what the problems were, because it's definitely a tonal shift, but then understanding why, and even just what's presented, not the background stuff, but
Yeah.
what was presented on screen. There was at least 3 seasons worth of storyline here,
Oh yeah.
wrapped
Yeah.
into one.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
season 1, season 2 had a certain focus, a certain pace. This was at least 3 seasons worth of brainstorming, writing put in there, and they
Right.
just had to wrap everything up.
And it's easy to look at this and say, what could have been? This could have had so many more seasons of great storylines that we were just setting up. This whole future thing, could have been fun in and of itself. But you could look at it that way and say, it's a shame we only got 3 seasons. What could have been? But I
I
prefer
think
to
that
look
final battle was maybe a season 5 thing.
maybe.
I think it was maybe always leading up to that final battle with Kandar itself. But we'll have to have it sooner.
Yeah. But it's easy to look at all those things and say, what if? But I prefer to look at it as just being grateful, because we got something that enhances, like you said, my enjoyment of the movies now. It enhances my understanding of the character. And I'm grateful that we got as many seasons as we did. How many shows nowadays that you're so excited when they come out and they get canceled after 4 episodes? We got 3 full seasons, not even cut off in the middle of the 3rd season. They at least knew it was ending. They gave it a proper ending, a cliffhanger, as a lot of places like to do. But it really did have an ending. He defeated the evil Kandar. He saved the world. So I think I really can't complain. I really am just grateful for what they gave us.
Absolutely. And this is kind of bittersweet because, like I said, it's the end of the series. We're always like this when we've done a longer run series.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's not the end, because obviously there's always something in the pipeline with loads of stuff to watch. It'll never end. But but every time we do a long run series, we do drag it out a bit because we're just kind of like, once that button gets clicked, that's the end of that, so to speak.
I only exist when YouTube's on. I disappear.
That's it. We'll feel in the background. Nah, man, it was good to go through this and
this is great.
Talk it over. I've had more of an appreciation by doing this of this show.
Yeah,
I've definitely had more of an appreciation taking the time to go through the plot and with a bit of understanding.
Absolutely.
I can't bloody find a printed copy of Jason versus Freddy versus Ash, but I found it online, so I'm gonna read it.
Nice.
That was another what could have been moment.
Yeah.
Once again, some of the executives put the kibosh on, but that's something I want to look at.
Okay.
But there you go. Thanks everyone for tuning in at this silly time in the morning / evening. Thanks for the super chats and everything else. It's all fantastic. It all helps. Everything that gets earned here goes into the channel. Like if it's not towards another project, it's towards the software, it's towards advertising, just getting the word out there.
Towards more tinfoil.
Yep, absolutely. The tinfoil budget in this podcast is ridiculous. Everyone's getting involved now as well because we've had to extend the tinfoil budget out to Dale and Luna.
That's right.
Showbiz, showbiz.
It's a part of it.
But there you go. Once again, thanks everybody, and just leaves me saying, until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the typical things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.